Today we'll be continuing our look at Soundcore's newly revamped audio lineup. I've been really impressed by their Liberty series, having recently reviewed the Liberty 2, 2 Pro, and Neo earbuds. So I'm turning my attention now to the Spirit series, their secure-fitting earphones designed for sports. The new Spirit Dot 2 and Spirit X2 are boasting all new designs, full sweat and waterproofing, and epic bass. In this video, we'll be covering all of their specs and features, explaining the differences between the two earbuds, and also seeing how they compare against their previous gen predecessors. Let's take a look. Starting off with the charging cases, these are both made from high quality materials, which you can immediately see and feel. The Spirit Dot 2 has a pill-shaped case, which is made from a smooth premium plastic, and has a nice graphite-coloured finish with some silvery gold accents. The larger pebble-shaped Spirit X2 case instead has a soft touch finish, which feels really nice in the hand, but is a huge fingerprint magnet, so you might struggle to keep this looking clean and new. The dot lid slides open with the satisfying mechanism we saw with the Liberty 2, which then locks open to reveal the earbuds. The X2 case opens with a magnetic clamshell design, but unfortunately doesn't lock open, and the lid can slam shut by itself. Opening the lid illuminates the case's LEDs, which you can also check manually with this button on the X2 case, and these lights indicate the case's remaining battery life. I appreciate the attention to detail here, because the LEDs match the colour scheme for each of the earbuds. There's a warm white glow for the Dot 2s, blending in with the gold-tinted accents on the case and earbuds, whilst the more traditional cool white LEDs match the silver accents with the X2s. At the rear we have the USB-C charging ports, which are protected by rubber seals, and though the cases themselves aren't waterproof, this does help protect the ports from accidental dust or water ingress. With both cases, the earbuds snap into place and are held by strong magnets, which is a really crucial element for ensuring that the earbuds both charge correctly and power on and off automatically. Now obviously the Dot 2 case is smaller and more portable. You might struggle to carry the X2 case around in your pocket, but I think this case is actually more in proportion with the earbud size. With the larger earhook style earbuds, a larger charging case is a necessity, and the case compares favourably against competitors like the Powerbeats Pro. But the Dot 2 case is unusually large, not only compared to competing earbuds, but there seems to be a lot of wasted space, because the case's battery life doesn't reflect the relatively large size. The Dot 2s are rated for 5.5 hours battery per charge, and just 16 hours with the case, which by today's standards is relatively low. For a charging case of this size, to not even hold 2 extra charges is both surprising and a little disappointing. The actual playback time for me did exceed this though, comfortably passing 6 hours at a listening volume of around 50 to 60%. One really strange thing I had with the Dot 2s is that the first 3 or 4 times I used them, they only gave me around 4.5 hours. For some reason though, this suddenly jumped up to over 6 hours with later tests, and seems to now be maintaining this for a more consistent battery life. As you may know, I thoroughly test all my devices for battery life with multiple sources, and whilst I can't really explain these unusual results, it might be something worth noting in case you experience a similar thing. The X2 earbuds are rated for a much higher 9 hours per charge, and 36 hours with the case, which is really impressive, and even better than Soundcore's Liberty 2 Pro. The actual playback time typically beat this too, but only on iOS, and the performance was significantly poorer on Android. I repeated the battery tests multiple times just to make sure this wasn't another anomaly like with the Dot 2s, but I consistently got around 7.5 hours. I reached out to Soundcore to see if this is behaviour they'd expect, and they explained that they use iPhones, and not Android phones, to determine the earbud's battery life, and that the X2s using the aptX Bluetooth codec on Android is more power hungry. Still, a 2-hour difference in battery life is unusual, so this again is something to be aware of if you're buying these for your Android devices. The charging time for both earbuds was around 1.5 hours, and 2 hours for the charging cases. The Dot 2s also come with fast charging, and gave me well over an hour of playback after 10 minutes of charging. The X2s don't advertise fast charging, but still performed almost as well with the same test. Despite the difference in battery, I still preferred the Dot 2 case overall, not just for its portability, but mainly for one specific design feature. When you open the case, the earbuds remain powered off, but you can still check the charging and battery status without having to turn them on, and only when you take them out of the case will they then automatically turn on and pair to your device. With the Spirit X2, opening the lid also triggers the pairing mode, so they'll wake up and try to connect to your device, and you can't just quickly check on the battery levels like you can with the Dot 2s. This also makes it impossible to tell when they're fully charged, and I really wish this worked like the Dot 2 case instead. As for the earbuds themselves, their designs are the biggest difference between them. Despite being called Spirit Dot 2, there was never a Dot 1 before this, but the earbuds essentially serve as a semi-successor to the Liberty Neo, though they're not actually replacing them. The Spirit X2, however, are a direct successor to the Spirit X, and I'll explain the differences between all of these earbuds in this video. The Dot 2s use a combination of silicone ear tips and new zero-pressure air wings, which can partially deflate to conform to your ear shape. They're designed for a more comfortable fit, whilst maintaining the security offered by having wingtips. The X2s use silicone ear tips and wingtips as opposed to air wings, but have flexible ear hooks too for guaranteed stability. The earbud materials are very similar to their respective charging cases, with a more rubberized texture to the X2s, and the finish and build quality of both earbuds seems to be of a really high quality. The Dot 2s felt pretty secure in my ears, and I could confidently wear these whilst running, although I didn't feel as though these locked as tightly in my ears as the Liberty Neo did. The Neo's rigid wingtips gave a more secure, unshakable fit, but the Dot 2's air wings were more comfortable, which I think makes the trade-off worth it. The earbud shape conforms nicely to my ear, and this creates a tight seal in the ear canal too, so you can keep focused on your music without the distraction of external noise. They remained comfortable even after a few hours of listening, but you may find the air wings cause some soreness after extended listening periods, so it might be a good idea to switch out the air wings for casual listening and times you don't need such a secure fit. With the Spirit X2, you obviously don't have the concern of these falling out because of the ear hooks, and the unusual vertical design actually works really well for achieving a secure fitting seal. The earbud shape angles the drivers into the ear canal, and the ear tip and wingtip combo then keep the earbuds in a fixed position with a tight seal, which a lot of these ear hook style earbuds fail to do. They all guarantee stability on the ear just fine, you're never in fear of them dropping on the floor, but keeping a tight seal in the ear is crucial for blocking out noise and for maximising audio quality, which, just like the Dot 2s, these do really well. The ear hooks take the pressure off the inside of your ear that you can get with the Dot 2s, but the heavier and bulkier design means that they're probably less suitable for casual listening. You're clearly getting a much more discreet look with the Dot 2s, which are incidentally 20% slimmer than the Liberty Neo, and have a very shallow profile in your ears. They should give a tight and secure fit for use in most sports, but only the X2s, with the ear hooks, offer guaranteed stability, suitable for even the most intense sports and exercises. I think the Dot 2s are a better option as a daily driver, but if you want complete peace of mind that your earbuds won't fall out, the X2s have you covered. To further enhance their suitability for sports use, both earbuds offer excellent water resistance ratings, IPX7 for the Dot 2s and IP68 for the X2s. This means that you can fully submerge both earbuds underwater, but only the X2s have additional protection against dust ingress. Soundcore Spirit series are also protected by their SweatGuard technology, which uses unique coating and processing technologies to offer protection against the corrosive elements of sweat, rain and seawater. This offers more protection than a typical IP rating would cover, and will help to ensure greater longevity and durability for the earbuds. The control schemes have clearly been designed with sports use in mind too, and are perhaps more streamlined than we're used to seeing. The Dot 2s simply use a touch surface on each earbud, and I found this both easy to locate and extremely responsive, even with light taps. They avoid the pitfall of using a single tap, which can often be accidentally triggered with touch controls, but clearly the control scheme is quite limited, and has a bit of a learning curve too. I guess the rationale was that these are sports earbuds, and so a limited control scheme is suitable since your focus will be on your workout, and the essential controls are still present. But this does restrict the earbuds for use in casual listening sessions, with no way to adjust the volume or skip your tracks back. Touch controls are a more comfortable, and usually more convenient method than a button. I've certainly enjoyed not having to push the earbud into my ear canal or suffer a loud click when controlling my music. But the biggest argument against touch controls in sports earbuds is that trying to use them with wet hands or in the rain can sometimes cause issues. During a workout, it's more likely the touch surface will be hindered by sweat or water, and this may make the touchpad less responsive or possibly even unusable. The Spirit X2 earbuds instead use button controls and exploit their larger size to fit 2 on each earbud. They're positioned somewhat awkwardly on the front edge, rather than the outside, so there's no concern of pushing them in your ear or the loud click. But because of the X2's vertical design, I did find myself having to twist my arm around to reach the controls. I'm not sure where else would have been a better place for them, and I'll happily accept this drawback since the vertical design maintains a nice and tight seal in my ear. But these aren't the most intuitive or comfortable controls to use. They're also not as quick or convenient as the Dot 2's touchpads, but I know many prefer the positive feedback you get with the click of a button, especially during a workout, and of course these are unaffected by water too. You also get the benefit of having much more control over your music, including volume control, which I know is a deal breaker for some people. You could even make the argument that the Spirit X2 are better suited to casual listening because of the greater playback options, but clearly there are advantages to both control schemes. Since I was able to achieve a tight seal with both earbuds, they each offered excellent passive noise isolation and blocked out a lot of external noise. This also minimised the amount of sound leakage, and at reasonable volume levels, you shouldn't have to worry about the person sitting next to you being able to hear your music. You're given a plethora of ear tips, wingtips, and air wings too, so there's a good chance you'll be able to find a combination that works well for you. There's no active noise cancelling here, which you typically find in much more expensive earbuds. But more importantly, there's also no transparency feature either. This can take on many different names, but this is the feature that turns on the earbud's microphones and then pumps in the outside noise to let you hear your surroundings. This spatial awareness feature is pretty common for sports earbuds. A lot of runners, for example, like to be able to hear passing traffic when running near roads, so this might be an important feature that's missing on the Spirit earbuds. Getting into the connectivity, the earbuds both use Bluetooth 5 and offered a really stable connection from my devices throughout my home, even through multiple walls. I also found there to be basically no latency at all on iOS or Android, so these are both great for watching videos. They're missing some premium connectivity features, like multi-device pairing, and sadly you can't use either of these with Soundcore's companion app, which means no access to customization or extra features. One good thing though, is that you can use either the left or the right earbud on its own, and in fact they'll seamlessly switch to mono mode when you place one of the earbuds back in the case, and then back to stereo mode when you take the earbud back out. The only difference between the Dot and X2 here is that the X2 support aptX in addition to SBC and AAC. The codec can be used to transfer higher quality audio with lower latency, but as we saw earlier, this may also be contributing to poorer battery life, so this is both a pro and a con. Both of the Spirit earbuds use a 2-mic setup for phone calls. You'll hear the caller through both earbuds, but only one of the earbuds mics are active during the call. So if you want to use just one earbud, you'll need to place the other back in the charging case. With the Spirit Dot 2, my voice sounded reasonably clear, but you can definitely still hear background noise like passing traffic. I also noticed that the mic seemed to activate as I spoke, so the sound cut out each time I finished speaking. The Spirit X2 earbuds have the added benefit of CVC8 noise cancelling, but the main difference I noticed was that my voice was louder and clearer to hear. The mic seemed to be more sensitive, because the background sound was louder too, and the earbuds didn't seem to cut in and out like the Dot 2s. The larger X2 earbuds position the microphones closer to your mouth, and as expected, did sound clearer for phone calls. But overall, I was pretty pleased with both earbuds. Now, moving on to audio quality, first and foremost, these earbuds do live up to their claim of epic bass. There's definitely a bass-focused sound signature to both of these earbuds, and the warm tone is free from sharp sibilant sounds. But conversely, they're also missing detail, especially in the high-end frequencies. The audio just isn't as crisp as I'd like. The sound is far from muddy though, and the clarity is still pretty good. It's just that vocals and upper mid-range frequencies don't really pop because of that shift towards the low end. These can both reach very loud volume levels. I doubt there will be any complaints here at all, and combined with a tight-fitting seal, the audio is very immersive. For anyone who's not an audiophile, I think these will sound really good, and my only real criticism would be that they're lacking in separation and a sense of soundstage, especially compared to other earbuds like Soundcore's Liberty series. Ideally, I'd like these to be compatible with Soundcore's companion app, so that you could use the custom EQ to squeeze the very best audio out of the earbuds as possible, but they still sound really good with the default profile, and especially good for earbuds in this price range. There is a subtle difference in sound between the two earbuds, and I think this comes from the fact that the X2s are using larger 12mm drivers versus the 8mm drivers in the .2s. The X2s offer more depth, and the bass is deeper too, especially with the bass turbo equalizer turned on. The bass turbo mode sets the X2s apart from the .2s, and this can add a warmth and richness to songs lacking in bass, whilst songs that already have good bass really thump. If you're a bass head, you'll probably like the sound of both of these earbuds, and these are the most bass-heavy earbuds in Soundcore's lineup. But the X2's bass is seriously powerful, so these are the ones to get if that's your priority. A few extra points I want to make about the audio is first off that there is an audible hiss in the background, which you can hear when you hit pause, and this then stops after 10 seconds or so. It starts up again when you hit play, but when you're listening to music you usually can't hear it, so this shouldn't ever be a problem. The second is that the importance of choosing the right ear tips and wingtips, as always, really can't be overstated. It can be the difference between mediocre and excellent audio, and at first I was actually disappointed with the sound, especially with the epic bass claims. But switching out the ear tips for a better seal made a massive difference, so do experiment with all of them. And finally, one advantage of a bass-heavy signature versus a more balanced profile is that I find this tends to suit sports use. During a workout, there are often lots of distracting sounds: the noise of the gym environment, wind rushing past, or your footsteps hitting the ground whilst running. You're not in a position to fully appreciate the details and intricacies of your audio, but the bass especially is what tends to suffer, so a bass-heavy sound can often compensate for this, preventing the audio from seeming thin, and I find this sound signature suits their intended purpose as sports earbuds. So the final thing to discuss is the price, and both earbuds are retailing for $80. At this price, there are a few competitors that better these earbuds, and I think these both offer a compelling alternative to even a lot of the flagship brands you'll find at the $150 mark. The pricing makes it simpler to decide between the earbuds, and you can essentially focus your decision on whether you'd prefer the Airwing or earhook style design. Obviously, there are other factors to consider too, such as battery life, and this table here summarises the major differences between the two. But really, it's the earbud design that will be the most important factor for how you personally want to use these earbuds. Of course, you can use either earbuds however you choose, but they're clearly designed for different purposes. The X2s strike me more as a dedicated sports earbud, whilst the .2s are more of a daily listening earbud with sports-proof features. But I think the Spirit X2 take the edge over the .2 in terms of overall value. There are fewer earhook-style true wireless earbuds on the market, and I'm yet to find a better pair than the X2s at this price point. The .2s have much more competition, and because of the limited battery life and control scheme, you may be tempted to spend a little more for a competitor offering a greater feature set. For daily listening, I think there are better options out there that offer greater comfort, more features, and customization, including within Soundcore's own lineup. But I think the true value in the .2s is how well they work as dual-purpose earbuds, both for casual listening and for sports use. So if you're looking for a great all-rounder, the Spirit .2 and Spirit X2 are two of the best value earbuds under the $100 mark. Now, before we wrap up, I also wanted to summarise the differences between the Liberty Neo, the original Spirit X, and these new earbuds. As I mentioned earlier, the .2s aren't a direct successor to the Liberty Neo, but they're designed for the same sort of purpose and have a similar feature set. The improvements made to comfort, connectivity, and audio quality, for me, make the .2s worth spending more for. Equally, if you're looking for the .2s, but with a button instead of touch controls, you can save some money with the Liberty Neo. The Spirit X2 are basically an all-round upgrade from the original Spirit X, offering improved battery life, audio quality, and water resistance. But it's the new true wireless design that makes it a no-brainer to get the newer model. Let me know in the comments which of these you think are better overall. and also what you think are the best sports earbuds under $100. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.